Hey everybody, welcome back to the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead beat writer Tucker Sennett, joining you here today to discuss the last game of the season. It's over. NC State football has done it. They have snapped the lengthy bowl losing streak, and Dave Doran has finally gotten another bowl win for the first time since 2017. NC State throttled Memphis in the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa Bay, Florida, winning 31 to 7. Not a particularly exciting game, not a lot to talk about here. NC State just looked like the team that wanted it more out of the gate. Memphis didn't have a lot of urgency offensively. They actually outgained NC State through most of the first half. I think that changed when NC State broke a big play at the end of the half to go up 31 to 7. And then we had a scoreless second half. So nothing happened in the third and fourth quarter. NC State's defense did its job. Caden Fordham named MVP of the bowl win. Pretty phenomenal performance from him again. Finishes his season with 13 tackles, another double-digit tackling performance, 5 solo tackles, and a tackle and a half for loss. Also had an interception in the first half that set up a NC State short field, which Will Wilson was able to punch in for a touchdown. So, yeah, a really kind of nice way for NC State to finish this 2025 season, a solid, building block for 2026. CJ Bailey looked like he was having a good time. He finished with 14 completions on his 25 attempts for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty solid day. Wasn't as sharp as he had been down the stretch, but still got the job done. No Hollywood Smothers, as he announced his intention to transfer earlier in the week. So Duke Scott got the start at running back, 19 carries for 108 yards, including he popped one for 35 that helped set up a NC State field goal attempt, I believe. So, yeah, just, pretty ho-hum day for the offense. This Memphis team didn't present a lot of threats from a size standpoint. NC State kind of pushed them around, got what it wanted when it wanted to get that. That was a weird way of saying that, but you know what I mean. Memphis actually ran more plays than NC State. Doran kind of took his foot off the gas in the second half, obviously, because it was 31 to 7, and this team didn't have to do much more to win the game. It just felt like the defense was really controlling the pace and dictating the way that the game was going to go. NC State was in the backfield a lot, affecting Memphis quarterback Brendan Lewis. The Wolfpack finished with 2 sacks, so that was certainly a big impact on the game. They also had 9 tackles for loss, so really were stuffing the run game. Some guys who had good days in that department were Joseph Adidere, and even Brandon Cleveland had a nice day. There was a lot of talk about some guys maybe not playing, and I will say I will commend some of these guys that have NFL aspirations for playing most of this game. Justin Jolie went out there and suited up and wasn't involved in every drive as much as I think he normally would be. Only had 2 catches for 21 yards in the game, but he was out there. He was supporting his teammates. He made an impact in some key moments. Had a 17-yard catch in the game, but really allowed some of the other tight ends to get some valuable reps. All 4 members of that group finished with a catch. You had Dante Daniels with a big catch at the beginning of the game, Cody Hardy with a big catch, and even the freshman Preston Douglas had a nice catch and run from Bailey that extended a drive, and he looked the part of a strong tight end. So a really solid day from that group. The receiver group was on point for the most part. Noah Rogers had a pretty impressive hurdle that I'm sure will be on Sports Center. He went full, looked like Michael Jordan dunking a basketball as a wide receiver. It was pretty impressive to see. So that was cool. But again, there's really just nothing left to say about this team. They're not building for anything more, and the season kind of turns into 2026 now. You have to start evaluating maybe who you can retain, who you might lose, and get a head start on that. And NC State will have the opportunity to do just that, given the fact that this was such an early bowl game in the wider scale of the bowl season. NC State will have a leg up, obviously, on a lot of their ACC counterparts who have yet to play in their respective bowl games as those come a little bit later in the season. So, as for retention, I can't say anything on the guys that haven't already been listed. Hollywood Smothers is probably on his way out or is on his way out, and whether that's to the NFL or another school, I'm not totally sure. I think he is probably more likely to go pro personally, but I could be totally wrong. That's just conjecture from me. As for other guys, CJ Bailey's still kind of a question mark. I don't personally, and this is again conjecture. I don't think it's a good year to be a quarterback that, might not be viewed quite as strongly as some others in the transfer portal. And there are a lot of really talented quarterbacks in the transfer portal. I'm not saying CJ Bailey isn't a talented quarterback. I'm just saying that, given his competition this season, it was a down year for the ACC on the whole. Given how he played against top level defenses a la Notre Dame and Miami, it might not be a situation where he's really going to get an opportunity on a bigger stage than the one he's on now, and that might deter him from even having to make that decision. So he'll be one to watch certainly, and I'm not going to dive too deeply into that because we have a few weeks to talk about all that as the season moves along and do the whole speculation thing, which I know everybody loves because there's nothing else to talk about. That's all I got. 2025 over. Thanks for spending football season with me. It's a pleasure covering the Wolfpack for you. We'll do it again someday. And as always, if you want more content, go ahead and hit up the feed. You know what it is. Not going to say it again. Have a good one, folks.